When the Prime Minister of India entered UAE airspace recently, his passenger plane was met by a formation of F-16 fighter jets. This dedicated military escort served as a rare diplomatic signal of security priority. The visit lasted only 2.5 hours. It was a targeted mission to finalize a strategy that would secure India's energy grid against rising global instability. This brief flight marked the point where India moved to systematically insulate its domestic economy from the volatility of the outside world. The global fuel supply chain relies on narrow corridors like the Strait of Hormuz. These choke points are highly susceptible to wartime blockades, which can trigger immediate, cascading energy shortages across entire continents. Recent data shows the severity of this fragility. In Sri Lanka, fuel prices surged by 40%, leaving the population waiting in massive queues for days just to secure basic rations. Even the United States saw significant inflation, with domestic gas prices spiking between 45% and 48% as the global market tightened. During this same period of global panic, India represented a statistical anomaly. Domestic fuel price increases were held to just 3.2 to 3.4%. This stability resulted from a multi-layered infrastructure strategy that uses the UAE as a strategic buffer for the Indian energy market. PM Modi and UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed finalized a deal to use Indian soil for sovereign oil storage. Under this agreement, the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company will store up to 30 million barrels of its crude oil inside India's own reserve facilities. This represents a sharp escalation in bilateral trust. In 2017, the UAE stored less than 6 million barrels in India. That figure has now grown to 30 million. The UAE is integrating its most critical strategic assets directly into India's infrastructure, moving far beyond a standard buyer-seller relationship. This oil is destined for India's strategic petroleum reserves, or SPRs, located in Visakhapatnam and Odisha. India houses these reserves in massive concrete vaults bored deep underground, shielding the supply from military strikes or aerial bombardment. These eastern locations place the fuel reserves at the maximum distance from the volatile borders with Pakistan and China, adding a layer of geographic security to the physical engineering. Utilizing the UAE's oil within these vaults effectively doubles India's immediate emergency storage capacity. These subterranean facilities provide a physical shield, maintaining economic continuity when foreign energy corridors are compromised. The 30 million barrel oil storage agreement is the baseline for a much wider military and industrial alignment. A strategic defense partnership framework now links the two nations, covering joint military exercises, technological innovation, and long-term LPG supply agreements. The UAE is now a direct investor in India's regional security, a move that binds their military interests to the same infrastructure. These combined energy and military pacts create a shared fortification against regional instability. By securing these reserves and partnerships, India is decoupling its internal economy from the price shocks associated with Middle Eastern conflicts. If a major war were to close the Strait of Hormuz tomorrow, the global energy market would face an immediate freeze. India's military and civilian sectors are now positioned to operate through such a crisis, supported by the UAE alliance and the underground vaults. Strategic foresight and subterranean engineering have turned a potential vulnerability into a structural advantage, ensuring economic continuity before the next global crisis hits.